Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Suzerain. I admit, I have been recording these in a batch because I love this game so much. I've recorded a lot of episodes just back to back. But last we were here, things are popping off between Voxlarg and Agnolia. We had to dissolve our alliance with Agnolia to join the CSP. A little bit of an uncomfortable decision, but probably for the best. Our economy is bouncing back. However, we are in a massive debt crisis. We are gonna have to fix that. Let's see. The Bloodish leader poisoned. It's not good. Oh yeah, and our Minister of Defense wants to kill us. Probably. Bloodish opinion high. That's great. Controversial PR visit. Been an outcry against the unpopular president with violent protests. Feared the enemy. Fuck. So some people aren't happy. CPS huge campaign. Communist Party of Suzerain has organized a large campaign to push in the morning. Workers' Party announces Lek as their replacement for Ajal. Hey, Lek's a good man. Red Youth terrorizes Swordland. That's not true. Fuck. They're going a little bit too far. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. The new force in politics, People's Front. Musson Lek's back at WPB. CPS WPB formed the People's Front, Communist Party of Suzerain, and the Workers' Party of Blodia are joining their forces for the election. Yesterday, the leaders of both parties held a 6-hour meeting to discuss the terms of their alliance. You fuckers should be supporting me. Swordish's Great Depression, yeah, they're not good. Valksland occupies Helliland. OMAC announces expulsion of Romberg. The fuck is OMAC? Organization for Metropolitan Economic Development. Seems to be successful so far in receiving the backing of international community led by Sordlin's request. OMAC has decided to expel Rumberg. Hehe, fuck off. At least not always bad. What's new here? Just a planned economy, okay. Monsoon might return to the WPB to fill Ajal's role. Pick up the phone. Mr. President, sorry for calling you directly. This is important. I just received word they started the impeachment process. Of course they have. An impeachment for what? To be frank, a lot. We might be screwed. They're citing a major scandal. I received a report and took notes. Here's what it says. Secretly funding the Red Youth behind the scenes. Fuck. It's been in cahoot with the media mogul Marcel Caronti. Also true. Shit. Mr. Caronti's country club. They struck a deal in which Mr. Caronti agreed to sway the media in favor of the president. List goes on and on. Shit. This isn't great. We will defend ourselves and present the best case possible, of course, but it will be hard. We'll need to stay optimistic. We may still have a chance. But for now, I will let you take it all in. Talk to you later. Fuck. Private meeting with Leleas. Sitting on the sofa above her nearly lies portrait of a sallow, unhappy-looking young woman in a lace ball gown. Is that you? My mother, actually. I was her only child, you know. Giving birth to me left her medically unable to conceive. My father never could forgive her, nor for not bearing him a son. What a cunt. Sounds like a painful childhood. Silver lining is that despite personally despising me, they felt compelled to grant me all the advantages a son could have had, including the education I needed to rise in my current position. Would you be so kind to tell me was why you invited me over? Given how your wife spends her time these days, I thought you might be in need of a home-cooked supper. Oh, for fuck's sake. Speaking of which, smells delicious. Groundskeeper shot it this morning. Don't shoot your own venison. And I want you to know that I have nothing but respect for you. But, given certain developments that have occurred in the course of your term, I believe you are no longer fit to lead the United Soylent Party. Wanted you to be the first to know that I myself will be running against you in the party congress. I suspected that might happen. You're going to pretend you're not currently on the verge of impeachment? Did you think I'd sit by as you made mockery out of this country's constitution, the very constitution that is keeping this nation safe from internal and external threats? You're a disgrace to the good name of Tarkinsol. If you poison my food, you're fired. It's a little late for that. I'm doing a courtesy tonight. Didn't want to surprise you at the Congress, and I want to give you time to consider backing me. I can't back down now. Tender my official resignation once we're both back in Holsworth. Make the best man win, come on. It's a shame to lose you. Have the butler show you out. This is not shaping up good for me. Not at all. CSP modernizes Navy with new ships. Is Joseph happy about it? Show me that again, shit. Political overview. I do not have a Minister of the Interior. We are fucked. We are fucked. 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 Is what we are. Minister of Interior Graf resigns. Graf throws in the towel. Military parade. Mr. President, we are almost ready. We'll depart right after the tank column. Rumberg will think twice after today. They will tremble before the Swordfish military might. Private, can you do your job properly? What was that salute, soldier? What? This is a real salute! Oh, for fuck's sake. Calm the fuck down. Strict as ever. Old habits die hard. Mr. President, Mr. Lancia, at ease, Mr. Walkner. Are we ready to depart yet? Yes, sir. Follow me, please. Mr. President, have you seen the tanks our planes do? Rumberg will soon be scared that they've seen these too. Yes, and apparently our navy is brand new. That's the plan. A great one, I'd say. Serge, you put too much confidence in me. My kids were very excited to wake up today, to see the planes fly. Where did you do your military service? 7th Artillery Squadron. I still talk about many of my friends from those days. Camaraderie of military is never forgotten. I still talk with many of my days as well. What about you, sir? All over Soylent, Mr. President was under my command once. Government outpost. You remember those days? Unfortunately, I do. Who couldn't forget about Major Lancia? We call him the Relentless. Good old days. I also remember Mr. President did not like to execute direct orders from his superiors. I did what needed to be done, which was disobeying orders, but I won't delve into the past. So don't! We are here, sir. Good luck, Mr. President. I'm gonna get shot, aren't I? We waited for a few minutes. Raise my fist. Tarquin Sol sitting next to General Vulcan. Fantastic. I don't like the fact that those two are talking. Oh shit. This is not good. Okay, let me know. Am I being did I get impeached? Am I being overthrown? What's happening? World leaders together at Alliance of Nations. Schedule for the Alliance of Nations session. Yada yada yada. All of the world's most powerful people are under one gleaming dome. One wrong word and the world will go to hell. Yeah, it's amazing how someone has managed to fill a room with people that absolutely loathe each other. It's truly astounding when do you come far. How are you feeling, Anton? Ever since what happened to Peter, I'm amazed that you've been holding up so well. I've seen you two hanging around all the time in university. He has been more the friend that I could have ever been to him. Wish I had done more to help him. It's tough to be the president, making harsh decisions and dealing with the consequences. I wish I could have supported you, but time has been cruel mistress. For what it's worth, I appreciate all of the advice you give me. What you have done is far more than enough. Don't treat yourself so harshly. The session is about to start. Let's get comfortable. It's going to be a long day. Mr. President, it's my pleasure to return to this podium. Let's see how crazy this year's session will get. Let's see. When I last spoke here, the message I gave was of encouragement. Who the fuck is this guy again? President of Lesbia, great. Encouragement and support to this organization and the vital role it plays. Of all the challenges Eastern Mercopa and all the world has faced since then, one has grown larger and more imminent than any other. The threat of the so-called socialist states, so for fuck's sake, and the actions taken by their authoritarian rulers with no regard to international law. We're gonna be invaded by this guy. Join in with the pounding. No, come on. He's an embarrassment. Today, the need to come together as the leader of the free world is more important than ever. CSP, under the leadership of the United Contana, has been fueling Volkswagen military-industrial complex and its expansionist aims to Eastern Mercopa. The world turned a blind eye when the armies of Volksland occupied Helioland, and they did not stop there. According to our intelligence reports, United Contana made nuclear missiles were quickly deployed to the island. We demand that the Chancellor speak the truth. As you can all see, we have evidence of the construction of silos. Ah yes, the weapons of mass destruction. Shit. I think that's true. Honestly, this was always likely to happen, but so soon after the occupation, I didn't expect that. No Eastern Mercopan nation can accept the installation of weapons of mass destruction in the middle of our Markian Sea. We hereby call for the immediate dismantling and withdrawal of all missiles and other offensive weapons from Helioland. We invite all the members of the states to support our call for a resolution in accordance with Article 11 of the Falenco Treaty. Let us also not forget about the recent events that transpired in another state with socialist teachings, a state that wages war against its own innocent citizens, Velen. Velen's not even socialist. Strictly speaking, Smolak's party is called the Velek Nationalist Party of Nurist Socialism. Not socialism. If it has nationalist before it, it's not socialism. It's something far different. They purged the minorities in their country was again largely ignored by the international community. I would go as far as to call it a genocide. Velen violated our past treaties and mobilized their... Yeah. And yet, you didn't take any refugees, you fuck. Lesbia was affected not only by the very large wave of refugees coming from Ireland, but by the subsequent government seizure of all our companies that were active in the country. We hereby call the member states action against Velen and its rogue government. Don't react. Can I respond to the bullshit he was spewing? Cause I took all the refugees, you didn't. Real chaos will start now. Mr. President, fellow delegates, it's true that the world today faces multitude of challenges. It's the present of them. Yeah, great. In the midst of these challenges, the world's most powerful leaders gather here in Kirut. And what do? They make threats, promote hate, and spread lies. Is this an alliance of nations we all want? Where is the cooperation and friendship? Where is the unity? I want to remind you that the wars that the West fought on our soil, or the foreign troops who occupied our country and seized our valuable resources, we want to remind you how they stole the oil from our sacred soil and they did not know when to stop. The ATO soldiers left, but their interference never ceased. They financed armed rebel groups whose only purpose is to create terror inside our country. So, fellow delegates, don't you dare speak about Velen before you acknowledge your involvement in our civil war, before you acknowledge your own dark past. Doesn't justify what Velen did. It's President Smollett. What do you expect? As is well known, after the tremendous tragedy of the Velen Civil War, Arcasia made a deal with United Contana where they agreed upon the withdrawal of their troops along with the removal of half of our army. Not only did they weaken us, we were left alone in facing the genocide of Bloodish. Oh, they're the genocides. Fuck you. Which the ATO funds together with Rumberg. Just like the delegate before me, I will show you some of the evidence of our interference. Oh good, oh look, a stack of papers. Clear evidence of direct aid from Rumberg to the Bloodish Freedom Front. They smuggled tons of Ka-74s. In Velen, they smuggled their spies, smuggling mercenary comrades. He's got balls taking on Rumberg in the West like that. These documents will be published everywhere. Copies have already been sent to the investigative affair of the Alliance of Nations. I expect this organization to do its task and investigate this properly, instead of leaving Velen behind as they have always done. Coming back to the claims of the lesbian representative, first, there is no evidence of civilian massacres by the Wesnak forces, nor so-called purges of minorities. Second, the operation was limited only to the militant BFF, not the Bloods in general. Third, we know your government is also implicated in the funding of the BFF, and that your oil companies added their militants during the operations. Fourth, as the state we only look what was ours. The companies the delegates spoke of were not only aiding militants, they were brought to Velen by force. Know what, Velen will no longer recognize the right of any other country to determine what type of weapons we are permitted to possess, or what type of policies we follow within our borders. Yeah, this should be fun. Velen stands stronger and more united than ever. Our people have spoken, the enemies inside our borders are crushed. Now, I asked every delegate here to read our report on the connections of the West and the armed militants in the east of Maricopa, and I asked the Alliance of Nations to do what's right. Velen only wants peace. Sure. Our people want peace. They are counting on the support of understanding of all the nations of the world. Their proclamation is free Velen or death. He seems to be popular with Rika. He played the victim here pretty strongly, and his anti-imperialist stance has definitely earned him sympathy with the Ricans. Most of that continent has still not achieved stability after gaining their independence from their colonial suzerains. It's not easy to forget, it has only been a few years since the revolutions. When do I get to speak? Uh-oh, it's Helluland time. He looks pissed. Can you blame him? Valsland has just occupied Helluland. Mr. President, fellow delegates of the Assembly and friends, it's an honor to be with you today. I wish we could meet under different circumstances. Once again, the CSP nations, and in particular Valsland, have shown us what they're willing to do to achieve their political aims. I must sadly say that the world has left us alone. We were one of the first countries to propose proper cooperation between Eastern Macopan nations, yet when we were threatened by Valslandian expansionism, Nobody came to our side, although Mr. Alvarez voiced his indirect support for us earlier. I can't keep myself from wondering where he was when our lands were under invasion by the very socialists they spoke about. So here I am asking for the support of the fellow members of States of the Alliance of Nations. Agnolia is under attack by Valdsland. Yeah, needs rulers of respect. Mr. President, please moderate the assembly. This is more than disrespectful. As you all know, Helionland, which has been territory of Agnolia for more than 3 decades, it's not a long time, mate, was invaded by Valksland in a sudden attack. Not only did they unlawfully occupy our land, they brought nuclear missiles on the island the moment our forces retreated. In the midst of all this, Swordland, which explicitly promised to support us, uh, sorry about that, mate, has switched sides after hosting a meeting with Mr. Malyanev. Another state from the Eastern Merkapa now works with the CSP. Malyanevist terror surrounds us on all sides. We must not falter. I invite all member states to find a resolution in accordance with Article 11 of the Falenko Treaty, enforcing the immediate dismantling of all missiles from Helioland. I must also remind you that under Article 3, the Alliance of Nations must ensure the withdrawal of occupying force from the island. I call the democratic world to action against the theory of Malyanevism, authoritarianism, militarism, and extremism. You're a spineless jerk, lackey of Arcasian imperialism. What does he think he's doing? All of your complaints against us are a direct result of your capitalist and neo-colonialist systems. Wait, Fishy got a lot older, or did he always look this old? I believe I don't need to speak more about the subject, everything's clear day. Mr. Hegel's actions speak volumes about the reality of Valksland and the corrupted ideology. I hope to see this conflict resolved with the help of the Alliance of Nations soon. Buckle up! Looks like you're having fun. yeah, watching this clusterfuck? Definitely. First of all, I want to extend a due welcome to the new states from Rika that have joined this organization. After fighting for years against colonialism and imperialism, they more than earned our membership vote. I'm overjoyed to see them finally represented in this assembly. As our numbers grow and more states are represented in the stage, we come ever closer to finding resolutions to the conflicts that plague us. For hundreds of years, the dominant economies of Merkapa raised, pillaged, and exploited the continents of Rika and Xena. Sadly, Valksland was also part of this plunder in the years before the revolution, when it still clung to the idea of imperialism, but when our masses found their voice, the old colonial powers and their new financiers turned against them. These powers did whatever they could to hamper our revolutions. They did not want the people to be heard. They are scared of us for showing the possibility of a better path. Of course, they don't want us to succeed. We threaten the productivity that runs with the blood and sweat of their working class. And now they have started labeling us the aggressors, yet all we know, it was the Arcasians who built up military bases all around Merkapa. It was the ATO that was the first form to fight against Malyanevism. He's exaggerating. He's not entirely wrong, but he is exaggerating. Helioland was, is, and will be Valklanian territory. Our intervention in the island was completely justified. Mr. Delegate brought up the Falco and Ventry City treaties. However, they are forgetting about the Treaty of Constantium. Valksland exercises its right to intervene on behalf of our people, who were being oppressed and massacred by an Agnolian government just because they did not recognize our appointed governor. They did not get to elect one. We acted in full accordance with the second article of the treaty. If there's a side to be blamed, it's the state which murders its minorities for publicly showing support to our nation. There are also claims about illegal missiles. No country in the world has the right to determine what type of weapons we import. If there's a conflict the Alliance can resolve, let's start with the Arcasian base in Ravnos Island. Lesbia has been housing Arcasian troops and missiles by our border for years, and none of the member states even talked about it. I also want the member states to look into the Arcasian bases in Lesbia. And the Alliance of Nations truly claims to have people's best interests at heart, they cannot stay silent about what Agnolian government did in Heliland. Now they took away the rights of our people. Perhaps then there can be proper dialogue between our nations, and the Alliance of Nations can finally demonstrate that it serves its intended purpose. But unfortunately, the Alliance of Nations remains all too willing to overlook such human rights violations. However, the Valslandian government is ready as always to fight the forces of oppression and colonial servitude on behalf of free people everywhere. Before I leave this stage, I also like to extend due welcome to Swordland, our newest entrant into the CSP. Another great nation now stands together with us. What the fuck? Was that supposed to be Swordish? He said a revolution will come. Yes, but it was in old Valgish. Very similar to Swordish, right? Some words are even written the same way, but I'm surprised you caught that from his accent. We have to listen to the Queen first? Come on. Dear President of the Assembly, dear delegates, dear leaders of the world. Just as my fellow Eastern Mercopan delegates spoke about the troubles plaguing our continent, I also have to bring attention to a growing threat in our region, Swordland, of course. As you know, not long ago, Swordish aircraft with offensive capabilities were spotted inside our borders. A few days later, they shot down one of our planes inside our own airspace. It was practically an act of war. Know this, Rumberg will do anything in its power to defend itself and its interests whenever Swordland is actually planning something or not. Our Swordish neighbors, and what they've been doing is very concerning. They took in traders and gave them protection. The president even went so far as to blame our country for spying on his administration, though his own private secretary, and he expects the world to believe his lies. Point of order. Fuck off. I hereby invite all of you to determine the initiation of a proper intergovernmental investigation into Saarland. If the Alliance continues to shirk its given duties, you can trust in Rumberg to take matters into her own hands. For fuck's sake. We have Contana on our side. It's also important to point out that Rumberg will not stand idly by if more Contana military are transferred to Eastern Mercopa. I hereby condemn both the CSP and Saarland for not allowing United Contana to settle in our region. Before I finish, I also want to say, Mr. Smolak, I am looking forward to reading your report. I wonder what his so-called evidence is all about. Know that your slander does not work on us. Know that we are ready to die for your freedom. Know that our kingdom stands firm and strong. Expect a grand awakening. Thank you. Grand awakening. Sound like a threat? Yeah, it did sound like a threat. Okay. My time. Finally. Thank you, Mr. President, fellow delegates. Speakers who have preceded me have expressed their concerns about their problems. Sutherland remains committed to the Alliance of Nations. Anybody who has sensed distrust him must appreciate what significant gathering he is addressing. Just as the speakers, we have our concerns. I would like to stress the importance of these words, Alliance of Nations. Our century is the century of struggle for freedom, the century of liberation from foreign occupation. Large scale. Struggle for freedom. It's time to ask the hard question. If this organization is achieving any of its aims. Today we're confronted by a difficult choice. Our great achievements may be used for the benefit or detriment of mankind. It's more important than ever to unite under this charter. I would like to address some of the topics mentioned here today. Zurich claimed that Velen was involved in a genocide, so strong words should be spoken with proper evidence. I condemn small axe crimes against the British people. Sorland stands together with the British people. I would also like to respond to Mr. Van Houten. He must first look at his own actions in Helluland, which started his chain of events. He claims there is Malevist terror. All I see is neo-colonial, that we were in no way involved in Helluland. Sorland will do anything it can to achieve peace. I'd also like to address the Queen. She talked about some hypothetical threat that our nation poses to Eastern Maricopa, while Rumberg's military has tripled in the last decade. It was Rumberg who shot our aircraft within our airspace. We only defended our borders. I also have some evidence to show the assembly Mr. Smolak was right about the Ka-74s. Rumberg has definitely been arming BFF and Sorland. Yep, many militant groups are being financed or armed by Rumberg. There is another important piece of evidence. We'll be exposing our source, called the Alliance of Nations Service Duty. Supports Sorland. Yeah, let's use the evidence. For blowing the whistle on the country's hidden nuclear facilities. I hereby call the Alliance of Nations to serve its duty. Rumberg and its nuclear facilities must be properly investigated. Support Sorland while facing an existential threat. Now I'd like to bring my speech to a close. The Assembly of Nations can no longer fail to ignore the machinations of the enemies of peace. Sorland is to recover if there is action not taken. Machinations of the enemies of peace. There cannot be any more procrastination or delay. The AN must adopt decisions according to the wishes of the people of the world. People of Sorland and I are honored to have expressed our concern. Yeah. Must adopt decisions according to the wishes of the people of the world. Peace in Maricopa, peace in the world. There were some applauses. Raise your fist. Thank you, David. It was not a bad speech. You did well. It could have gone better, couldn't it? Mr. President, I want to congratulate you on an election to this high office. I kind of pissed off everyone there, didn't I? My secretary, delegates of the Alliance of Nations, ladies and gentlemen, fellow friends, yada yada yada. We meet again on our quest to bring peace and light into this world, but even though some of the clouds have lifted, the world has not yet escaped darkness. The Continent Security Pact is rapidly expanding its influence. Now a fellow Maricopan nation, Sorland, is standing with United Continent and the millennialist ideology. It's very troubling to see a democratic nation of Maricopa be invaded. I refer, of course, to Helluland's occupation by Vaxgland. This is an attack against the lasting peace the world has enjoyed. Today, our peacekeeping obligations are being tested by United Continent and the millennialist bloc. If we fail to counter and stop the threat, if we stay idle, allow them to build new walls and weapons of hostility, if the attackers do not face any consequences, then this unstable peace we believed we had built will be the world's downfall, and prosperity will point its finger at us for not stopping it. Started making noise again. Hagen taking off his shoe. Yes, I understand this reference. What the heck? It's kind of ridiculous. He's not even ashamed. Despite its claims, the CSP's action will only bring about war. We believe United Continent and Arcadia, together with their allies, could come to an understanding for our mutual benefit, our desire to avoid the destruction of the world, yet United Continent keeps acting in complete disregard to international law. Their allies are forcefully taking land and imposing their own values on the people of those lands. I will say this to the leaders of United Continent: if either of us is to be secure, we need peaceful cooperation, not nuclear missiles, shows of naval superiority, or invasions. If the leaders of United Continent fail to demilitarize Heliland, with complete dismantling of the nuclear missiles and the withdrawal of the occupying Falklandian forces, the ATO will have to take matters in its own hands. Oh, fuck. Was that supposed to mean you're promoting war in the Alliance of Nations? Mr. President, this cannot... Silence! Mr. Chancellor, please let me finish. We did not interrupt you when you were addressing the Assembly. Finally, I propose that the Alliance of Nations undertake the noble cause of helping the people of the world through rewriting and properly enforcing its Human Rights Declaration. The Alliance of Nations cannot survive a static organization. Its size and duties are increasing enormously. It should adapt to the changing world. But peace and rights do not rest on the hands of this organization alone. They rely on the hearts of our people and the spirit of cooperation between our nations. So let it be known, my fellow inhabitants of this world, let us take our stand and see if we can finally achieve lasting peace. This has been a lot of reading. This episode is going long. Speech had very dangerous connotations to it. Hope we won't be seeing a direct war between superpowers anytime soon. And I'm guessing we are going to have to go through the Malyanev speech. Honorable Chairman and fellow delegates of the Alliance of Nations, here we are again at the most esteemed meeting of state representatives in the world. However, increasingly, we are being threatened, disregarded, attacked, or ignored. In this assembly, the representative of Arcadia, which has shown his unfriendly attitude towards us yet again, Arcadia would have you believe that we are standing in the way of lasting peace, yet the peace they talk about was only possible thanks to our missiles and our growing base in the developing world. The ATO kept waging war against people's revolutions and forcing new independent states to be their puppets, binding them to fight to themselves through the Arcadian lira, and now yet another Arcadian president is telling us we are the aggressors and they are the keepers of peace. We will not be silent anymore against these lies. When was this peace you talk about? Where was this cooperation between our countries? Have you ever accepted our invitations to talk about denuclearization? If you don't like us, don't accept our deals. Don't listen to our concerns and keep pointing fingers at us. Why'd you invite us to the Alliance of Nations? Every year, United Continent comes to this assembly to address the real problems of real people, people who suffer because of your systems, your wars, and your ignorance. Whether you like it or not, we'll keep representing the laborers, the slaves, the oppressed of the world, and believe it or disregard it, history is on our side. We say to the representatives of capitalist countries, come and visit us. Come and see the revolution working in Contana. Show our continent to your people without distorting the reality. If you cannot do that, then you need not come. We believe socialism will triumph over capitalism in the end. Such is the logical conclusion of the development of humankind. Keep watching. See, even my dog is supporting the speech. You can keep laughing, gentlemen. Communism will bury you. If you really live in cooperation, we will be waiting. You really believe in cooperation, we'll be waiting. We're not going anywhere. However, if the ATO keeps intervening in our matters, it's natural that the CSP will react. Before we move on, we would also like to extend a warning to Rumburg. The representatives from both Felon and Sorlin referred to Ka-74s being smuggled into their countries. Mr. Rain also pointed out to the construction of nuclear weaponry in Rumburg. Our intelligence also confirms this. United Contana and the CSP will stand against the aggression of Rumburg. They are playing a dangerous game, one that may bring ruin to Maricopa and their own lands. I hope the Alliance of Nations can find resolution to this conflict. If not, let it be known that United Contana will do whatever it takes to protect the people of Sorland and Eastern Maricopa. That's great news. I hope it means it. Do you think Rumburg can pursue any more aggression after that statement? I doubt that. With our membership in the CSP and Contana's clear support, the Queen needs to be crazy to try anything. Despite threats from the ATO, Rumburg, or any other nation or organization, we must not succumb to further division and violence. We must ask ourselves, what do people of our countries expect of us? They surely don't want war and bloodshed. So let us leave to our children and grandchildren good memories of our time and better future for all. Let them look at history and say, once we were great divisions and complex problems, but the leaders of the world came together in the Alliance of Nations and succeeded in settling them in order to ensure our peaceful lives. Let us act in such a way to make this session not a session of threats, but a session of hopes and realization of them. The government of United Cantana and the United Peoples of Cantana are ready to serve their duties for world peace. Long live the People's Revolution! Long live the People's Revolution! Mr. President, what are you doing? I'm supporting our allies! That was a lot. Yes, it was. It definitely was. It's quite scary, to be honest. We need to be careful. But that is gonna be it for this episode. It's ran a little bit long. Thank you all very much for watching. Do point out in the comments, where are you? Are you a NATO imperialist pig, or are you a true comrade with the Soviet Union? Oh shit. Don't, and please don't talk about, like, let's not use this to talk about the current conflicts. Of course, I condemn Russia in the most vehement the most vehement terms. Like, there's no excuse to invade another sovereign nation. As much as I criticize NATO, that doesn't mean I support Russia. Y'all, I hope my audience has a brain and can tell the difference. Thank you very much for watching. As always, have a nice day. Well, I've only said have a nice day twice, so it's not as always. And before I bumble this closing anymore, please like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the things that leave the algorithm happy, and I will see you all next time.